Welcome to the SEO.co Search Engine Optimization Podcast. Digital marketing essentials and next level tactics. From offsite and on-site optimization to persuasive selling and everything in between. You'll learn actionable tips on what it takes to outright and outrank your competition. Now, here's your host, Nate Need.
Welcome again. Today we're going to talk about how long your blog post should be for SEO purposes and structuring your blog posts for search engine optimization. This is an oft repeated question that clients have, and the answer is it depends. It depends on the type of content that you're producing, it depends on your audience, and it depends on what you want to occur with that content. So for those that are producing blog content on call it a daily queue, daily schedule, then I would recommend something that's a little bit shorter. We typically will post once or twice a month on our blog, and that's by design because each one of our blog posts are typically anywhere from 1,000 to 10,000 words, and we want to make sure that we're not overburdening our writers and our staff to produce that level of content. And we also want to make sure that what we are producing is evergreen and will rank well for the terms that we want. And so that's our intent. And we don't really care about ranking for thousands of terms. We'd love to, but our focus is more on the hundreds of terms that really matter. And so we put a lot of thought into the titles, meta descriptions, and the URL structures of the posts that we have on our website. And that's the way that I would suggest most small companies work. Now, if you've got a massive budget and you want to pump out a lot of content and you're able to do 2,000 words a day, then that's fantastic. But the strategy there is a lot more difficult when you get to that type of scale. And we do have clients that we produce that level of content for at scale. But the struggle there is that you have to have a very coordinated team, both in-house as well as the outsourced writing team that you're using, so that your things like internal linking is all coordinated. The keywords that you're looking to target is coordinated with the internal linking, and you're not really stepping on the multiple cooks that might and will be in the kitchen in that sense. So you also have to gear your content toward your audience. So if you have a customer persona that you have dialed in, and you know that customer is, a middle-aged woman who really likes, I don't know, maybe she really likes bread pudding. Maybe she's looking for recipes or something of that nature. And your content then might include both the recipe and some long-form descriptions as to why this recipe is really good, etc., and some images, maybe some video. So a lot of that is, that requires a lot more in-depth thought and process to the content production itself. There should never be a hard and fast rules to length of content. There are studies that show that, articles that have 1,500 words or more tend to rank better in the top 10 results. And so that's something to keep in mind. But at the end of the day, it's really important just to understand who your audience is, who you're speaking to, and what their desire to consume that content might be. So typically the content that we produce with our content writing services is anywhere from 500 to 2,500 words or much longer, depending on the type of audience. But usually 2,500 words answers a question pretty thoroughly, and if you're writing longer than that, then you should have a good reason to have content that's longer than that. And a lot of the content that we have on our website is longer than that because we find that it ranks better. So in that sense, you would probably be most likely to see positive results if your content is if you're really tailoring and targeting your content to a particular audience and then going really deep on that content, rather than the strategy of producing a ton of content over and over again and then just hoping that, one of them will get picked up and you'll get some links from one. So a more apt strategy would be write really good quality long form content and then spend the rest of your time promoting that content like a madman. So out there doing your outreach campaigns to get links to that content. So it's better to have one piece of content that ranks really well than 500 pieces of content that rank terribly. So hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for joining us. We look forward to having you on here again soon.
Thank you for joining us on the SEO.co podcast. We appreciate your time. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show, and visit SEO.co for more resources based on today's topic, as well as access to more podcast episodes to help you improve your site's long-term SEO success.